said, sorry for the delay. Camera issues. Should be right back.
Haha. Okay. I don't know if it's back to that feed though. You might have to refresh. Sorry. As per tradition, I'm having technical difficulties.
So are you back on?
Yeah. It says, "Hey everybody." Nope.
No. Different video.
Hey. So we're still kind of getting set up here a little bit. Hey, Black. Hey, get it.
Here we go.
Okay. So Randy's going to be taking over the questions. So, I guess. Hey, everybody. I'm Yvonne Williams with Back to Earth Creations, and moderating for us today is Randy Vaughn. That's his name down in the comment area. It's my beloved partner, Randy. He'll be helping me out. And I'm just getting a few more things, kind of.
Your camera is very shaky.
Well, it's because it's on the laptop, and I keep shaking the laptop.
Well, stop shaking the laptop.
It's not. Add insertion. So how's everybody doing today?
What was your favorite project?
My favorite project?
Mm-hmm.
Like recently? Sorry, I'm still figuring out a couple of
What you doing?
Randy.
Oh.
I'll worry about that later. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna log in and see if I can't do it.
Stay on yours. There's no button for it.
Okay.
Okay. So it has been a crazy week. Randy and I have finally kind of been able to get my act together. And I say Randy and I because I'm like a complete and total disaster if I don't have him like herding me. It's like herding cats. And I'm saying herding like H-E-R-D, not herding like like punching me in the face. Though sometimes that is totally what it takes to get me to do all the work I'm supposed to do.
Have you started wrapping the fossil yet?
I have not. I've lost, like, again, this was part of needing Randy's help. If you could send me another message, because I can't remember if you were in my Facebook or in my email or if we were talking through YouTube. So if you could send me another message about the fossil and about what, like, metal tones you'd like with it. Just to pop it up to the top of the feed because we got completely flooded this past week with just all kinds of stuff. And so Randy and I have both been checking messages. So sometimes, you know, he'll be like, what's this email about? And I'm like, oh, well, I emailed them this. And I'll be like, who's this person? He's like, oh, well, they said this. So we're figuring it out, you guys. And also, I love the camera that you sent, but it doesn't have Wi-Fi, and that's why I still live stream through the cell phone. But we actually got something else in the mail today.
If you were to start learning chainmail, what is the type of pattern that's the easiest? Restate the questions.
Okay, the question is, if I were learning chainmail, what would be the easiest pattern to start with? Like, kind of, sorry, I'm not good at paraphrasing, but, that's, usually when I'm teaching classes, I start with spiral chain, and I actually have a tutorial up for that, and the reason why I start with that one is because other than, like, the first, like, 4 rings, you're doing the same exact thing every time, and it's very easy to spot whenever you have, like, a ring didn't go through proper or something, and it's very repetitive, and so by the end of a bracelet, you've got it. That, and it's fun to play with. And it only takes 1 ring size. So, but we have a package here from I don't know if it's Shea, but I'm going to say Shaylin is their name. From Arizona. And I'm just cutting into the box again. Trying to not gut myself with these giant scissors. It's a beautiful day here today, and I got to spend my morning chasing rabbits because Hermione is an escape artist, and she took all 9 of her little floofbun babies with her. So fortunately, they were all still in the enclosure, but it's like, dang, those little bunnies run fast. Woo! I got bubble. Oh my god, you guys!
Bubble wrap.
I got bubble wrap. I'm not just excited about the bubble wrap, I promise. Hey, Harley Dog. Everybody, this is Harley Dog. She was our old roommate's dog, and she's staying here for a little while until he finds her forever home. Because she's a big old girl, and she needs a big old yard, and we travel way too much to have someone who needs so much attention and love just left at home for like a solid week. Like, you know, we have house sitters and stuff, but it's just not the same. She needs somebody who can give her 100%. But until then, she's my good friend. And she's sniffing the inside of this box. Like, I'm sorry, it's not edible. Excuse me. So it looks like Shaylin sent us another camera. So for those of y'all who liked the 2 camera angles, get ready for 3. Oh my gosh. How do I open it? Ah! Ooh. And it has a play and a record. Maybe? How do I'm gonna have to look up. Ooh, I figured it out. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna put the batteries on to charge here shortly, and then we'll figure it out. Oh, and it has, there goes the lens cap. So does anybody have any questions, or?
What's your favorite project?
Oh, right. Was that a recent favorite project?
They
or?
keep re-asking.
Okay.
Just of all time.
Of all time?
Favorite project.
I'll show you. Well, I can't pull it down.
Which time? Favorite project.
It's my chainmail chandelier that I made.
Is your favorite project? Say favorite project.
Oh, my favorite project. Sorry, I was like, gosh, they're asking a lot, but that was Randy. Sorry. The question was, what is my favorite project? And probably my favorite project, other than the cosplay that I'm currently working on for myself, was the chainmail chandelier that I had made. And I don't know if you guys can see. Sorry about the train. But like over here in this corner, I'll just take you over there and show you, because it's a cell phone in the future. Now, behind this plant, you can see that chainmail chandelier. For my favorite project, I sure do have it buried. But see there up in the corner, excuse me, Mr. Plant. Right there. We take it camping with us and put candles in it. And it lights up our whole gazebo tent really nicely. But yeah, that was probably my favorite project. Just because it was so unique, it was so challenging. Like, probably not the most time-consuming piece we've ever done, but the piece that we've had to go back, like whenever we were making it, it took like a solid week of both Randy and I working, and we kept having to redesign it. And that's what was so challenging about it. But then it got a daily deviation on DeviantArt, which to me is a pretty big deal because I've only ever gotten the one. But it got featured on like the main front page of DeviantArt, and a lot of other chain mailers were like, whoa, that was really good. And it was so early in my career that I was like, the internet noticed me. Like, I exist. So yeah, hooray for superficial validation. But it's still, like, every time I think about it, I'm really proud of that. So, any more questions?
Some fresh onions. Do you plant them from seeds? Because I only got one. They come out of like 20 seeds.
The question is, how do I plant my onions? Do I use seeds? And the person said, who is it? Did they scroll past already? Okay. They asked, you know, they said that they only had like 1 out of 20 sprout. I've never had success growing onions, period. I can't even get chives to grow. That's why anytime I see wild onions growing in my yard, I'm like, oh my god. And I like mow around it because I'm like, I want more of you. But this year I started with just onion sets from the store. I don't know how it works. Like, it's like witchcraft or something. But I'm totally kidding. But it's just, I've never had good success of getting onions to grow. So far they seem like they're doing pretty good. I think I might have put them too closely together. We'll see. And I'm also trying again with chives because in the past it's like I wouldn't water stuff enough, or I'd plant it too thickly, or I'd plant it too thinly, and then be like, is that a weed or a plant? I don't know. So, any more questions?
What size of book/journal book project or dragon eye bracelet?
What size?
What size?
For the dragon eye, the question is what size eye do I use for the journal covers and the dragon eye bracelets? I think that's what they were asking. For the bracelets, I actually have another one on the press, working on right now. This is a 30 millimeter eye. It's a glass cabochon that I got. It just looks like it's glowing, doesn't it? That is so wicked cool. I love these things. I get them from AliExpress.com, and in like batches of like whole bunches. And then for the journal cover, the polymer clay journal cover that I had done, I used a 50 millimeter eye. So like 2.5 inches or 2 inches. Which one is it? 2 inches solid.
When wire wrapping, do you have a tip to help keep the wire spacing right if using 3/4 base wires? I tried it and it keeps squishing after the 2 inches.
Okay, the question is, how do I keep my wires straight when wrapping with multiple base wires? Not just straight, but like the spacing how do I keep the spacing the same? Honestly, a lot of it is practice. Some folks use masking tape. Another thing that I've done is whenever I'm wrapping the wires, I'll go through and do like 1 rotation of the pattern or like a centimeter, and then I flatten it with my nylon jaw pliers, which are lost currently. Where did I do my stuff? Oh, I can't find them. I had them, but they're gone. But yeah, nylon jaw pliers, and I like to squish it down, and by doing that, it holds it a little bit more firmly. But if you want, you can send pictures to my Facebook. Randy will put the link in there, hopefully. And we can work out, like I can give you particulars, because every weave's just a little bit different. How's it going over there, baby? Yeah? Any other questions?
It always makes me smile when the dogs go draft at the postman in the videos. Can you just say thanks for the free tutorials and your lovely ethical stance on that?
Right on.
Also, thank you for the real-time vids.
Thanks. Anytime. Like, I'm going to pull up some comments over here, too. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
I just have to figure out how to do that.
Have we watched any good animes lately?
Ooh, what's the one that we started watching? We liked One Punch Man. So good. Oh my gosh. I really enjoy it. But we're watching it in the Japanese with English subtitles. So I can't watch it while crafting because like it's way too interesting and we have to like read to keep up. Normally I just I know that I'm like garbage, I'm anime garbage, but I watch the English dubbed versions of a lot of animes because it lets me work and stuff. And my favorite anime probably of all time, oh gosh, can I give you a top 10? Like off the top of my head, I always enjoy watching Dragon Ball and I always enjoy watching Sergeant Frog. So yeah.
What nail polish do you use on your Dragon Eyes?
I use all sorts of nail polishes on my Dragon Eyes. That's the question was, what nail polish do I use on the Dragon Eyes? Sorry, last video I didn't say any of the questions, so it just sounded like I was randomly coming up with stuff. But I use a lot of Pure Ice brand. I use a lot of Sinful Expressions or something. Hey, I found my sweater. I actually have my bin of nail polish right here. So yeah, lots and lots of Pure Ice. Like, and I like them because the size is so uniform, and like they're square, so they stack perfectly together. Like, I wish all of my bottles were Pure Ice. Like, I'm actually halfway thinking about saving the bottles, putting nail polish remover in it, and shaking it up a whole bunch. And then every time I get like an oddly shaped one of these guys that's like square on the bottom and round on the shoulders, just putting it into an old Pure Ice bottle, so that my tray can actually properly stack. Because, like, I mean, come on, there's a light bulb. But, Salon Perfect is pretty good. I use a lot of Wet n Wild, though I haven't been able to find them as much. Like, it's basically, I don't look at the brand as much as I do the color. Some of the more expensive brands will have a more, like, a denser pigment. And so instead of having to do one layer on your fingernails, or instead of having to do 2 layers, you could just do 1. And that translates really well into whenever you're painting an eye, that if you want a very bold and intense color, or if you want to layer and blend, sometimes a cheap nail polish is perfect because you want just that little touch, like that hint of shimmery, like a real fine glitter, like a frost polish, I think is what folks call it. But
how many different colors do you use in an eye typically?
Ooh, the question is, how many colors do I typically use in an eye? Whenever the bigger the eye, the more colors I use. So like typically, for like if it's a 10 to 15 millimeter, I only use 3 colors, but I'll use a color shift. Something like, oh, that's not a color shift. Something like this one, that is like a pinky purple blue pearl, with like hints of seafoam green in it, because by fitting in those 3 colors, but each color having so much depth in itself, like this is another one that has some really cool, like, again, the camera doesn't really pick up on the color changes as much, but it's like a green, blue, purple combo. By using those, I'm able to fit a lot more impact into the eye, whereas on a 50 millimeter, I can use 12 or more colors. Again, it just depends entirely on the effect that I'm trying to go for, and what the client has requested, and just however strikes me.
How's Mila?
Mila is over in the neighbor's shed because she is their cat. It's their daughter's cat, and she was over, like, I guess at a relative's house for spring break and stuff. And so Mila just started wandering around, and then I kidnapped her. So we have efficiently given them their cat back, but I still leave food out for her. So, but she has had the kittens, but not my cat, not my kittens. So I haven't been like, I'm not gonna crawl into their shed and like, you know, like put a camera on a remote control car and like, though I might, I don't know. No, I'm not gonna do that to my neighbors. Any more questions? Let's see. That's your desk. How old are you? Oh, how old am I? Am I 28 still?
Yeah.
I'm 28. I was born in 88. I'll let you guys do the math. 28. I'll be 29 this year in August. So I feel like I'm doing all right for creeping up on 30. Old.
Do you have any tips for starting out when getting stock together?
Whenever we're building up a base inventory, I'll try to make like the same necklace design. Like, let's take this necklace for example. It has a pretty basic wire wrapping, and I use that same wire to make the beads along the neckline. But I would get the stuff to do this same necklace style in like 5 gemstone types in 3 metal tones, because some people like copper, some people like silver, and some people like the more earthy, like antiqued brass. And so by taking that one design and making 15 essentially necklaces of that one design, we could do shows back to back, and one design that sells well would sell at each of them, and that helped to beef up kind of a base inventory. That way I could then go and also do one-of-a-kind pieces that maybe take longer, or at least take more creative input, because that's something that whenever you go full-time and you're suddenly paying all of your bills off of it, it really helps to have some stuff that you know is going to sell, and that is pretty replicable, so you can put it on a website or on your Etsy, and if it sells, you can remake it, if you sell out or something. But I don't know, I lost my train of thought.
Where do you get black nail polish?
Walmart and Walgreens. I really like the it's out.
Restate the question.
Oh, the question was, where do I get my black nail polish? I'm so sorry. And I get it Walmart and Walgreens, because that's what we have here in Carthage, short of drive in 30 minutes. Yeah, it's I really like the gel nail polishes for my black, because it's really nice and thick. But then I also have a Sally Hansen hard as nails black that's kind of watery, that I really like for doing like streaky details whenever I'm just painting on. So
have you ever done a project using electrical parts like earrings out of transistors, ICs, etc.?
the question is, have I ever made jewelry out of electrical parts like transistors and stuff? I've done some wire wrapped fuse earrings that I thought were really cute, because you could and they'd be little fuses hanging from your ears. And then I actually have right here next to me, one of my friends from in St. Louis is really good about just giving me old circuit board stuff, like circuit boards out of their video games and things. And I'm actually going to be putting together a tutorial on how you can make your own jewelry out of stuff like this. And this one, you can see it says Nintendo on it. This was a little a DS card. Do you remember, Randy? This was the circuitry from inside a DS.
Yeah, like a video game.
Yeah, just a little video game. And it's already perfectly cut. It already has a hole in it. So I'll be showing y'all in the coming weeks. Hopefully, it might take about a month and a half. We have a lot of projects on the table. But circuit boards, who'd have thought? And she just gives me whole tins of them, and we've got a drawer somewhere that is nothing but old computer parts that we put on face masks and cut it apart with a Dremel into that way we can take a great big board and make it into smaller wearable pieces.
How long does chainmail usually take?
Chainmail projects can take anywhere from about 30 minutes for a bracelet to our most recent big piece that we did took about 48 hours of Randy and I both working. I don't know, 3 days of both of us working, however much that is. It's time consuming, and I just do butted chainmail with aluminum. If I added in welding or soldering and riveting, it's just that's why we don't carry and sell that, is because it's it would cost such an arm and a leg to sell you a shirt that's made like that it's we don't even, because I know it just we have found a very comfortable niche in the costume and fashion and LARPing market. So yeah. I think I'll have 2 videos. Thank Black Dim. Can you speak? Right on. Lag sucks. Are you planning on coming to Wizard World in September? Which Wizard World? Because in September, I think the only thing we have planned is Labor Day weekend. We will be at Dragon Con in Atlanta, Georgia. And that's that's our big show of the year, because it's such an excursion. It's a pilgrimage every year going to Dragon. It's kind of where our year leads up to Dragon, and then it calms down after that, and then it builds up to Dragon. So But that's pretty fun, though.
How'd you start your business?
Ooh. Randy and I started our business back in 2008 because we were both in college. And he had been fired from the factory that he was working at. Like, we were doing the online college thing. This was before we even heard the term diploma mill. But he had gotten laid off from the factory, and the store I had worked at had shut down because it was like a little mom and pop shop in a very small town, like population of like 6,000 to 7,000 at the time. And so for what they were selling, it was like a metaphysical head shop a little bit. And there was not enough client base to keep that store open, especially since like everybody kind of took turns boycotting us or like protesting the store's existence. So, Randy had gotten me a chainmail kit from the Ring Lord, and I made like 80 bracelets. And his dad was in the art league there in Fayetteville, Tennessee. And he was like, well, they have a craft show, every November. So we did the craft show, and we made like $500. And so we were like, that's pretty nice. And then we just started doing more craft shows. And then a friend that I had met on MySpace, okay, blast from the past, met him on MySpace, was like, well, have you ever gone to a convention? And we were like, what's that? And then he opened up this whole world of like, because we showed up and like we had never heard of cosplay or steampunk or conventions. I mean, I was a band nerd and Randy was a gamer, but it's like we hadn't heard of any of this. And then suddenly it's like, blew our minds. So, and then we started vending at more conventions. So that's how we started our business. was we were poor and we made money, and so we kept doing it.
Have you always been creative?
I don't know. Yes, but I was not very good at it. Like, as a kid, every Christmas I'd get, like, a little, like, art box that had, like, markers and colored pencils and, like, watercolors, like the Crayola gift box, basically. And they had gotten me some, like, clay to work with, but it's like I didn't really know what to do about it, because, I mean, you can have all the materials, but if nobody shows you, or if you don't have a book or a video or a teacher, then it's kind of like, I was so limited by, also, I was like 8, so it's like people are like, oh, I suck at everything. And I'm like, well, how old are you? You're 13. You're barely, like, you've been, barely potty trained for most of your life. Like, have some patience with yourself. But yeah, so looking back, I was 8. It's no wonder that, I wasn't, like, making world-class sculptures or something. But, I do a lot of, like, paint by numbers and stuff. But, like, in high school, I never took any art classes. And, but I was very driven to create because it's fun. It's relaxing. It helped me discover a sense of self-value, if that makes sense. Like, something that it's like, I did this, that was me. I did that, with my hands, with my bare hands.
Hi, Yvonne. I've used some mica powders to help thicken my black nail varnish. It works beautifully.
That's a really cool tip. Person just said that they use mica powders to thicken their black polishes, and that worked out pretty well for them. I'm going to have to try that. That'd be pretty cool.
Have you ever made any chainmail flowers or wire flowers?
I do, yeah. We have some clips.
You do what?
The question was, do we make any chainmail or wire flowers? And the answer is yes. We do some like little hair clips, which I am working on a tutorial. Again, it should be coming out in the next like month and a half. But on how we make the little, because we use like scales for the petals and stuff. Okay.
Do you have a Facebook page? Yes, you do.
How do you make chainmail flowers? To make the chainmail flowers, it's actually, if you guys find the question was, how do I make chainmail flowers? My Celtic Star tutorial, where it's like the rings and there's the 3 layers, you'd replace one of the layers with a scale. Like, do I have any here next to me? No. It's from the Ring Lord, and it's just, you kind of just replace it in to the weave. So
When's the last time you played your instrument?
Like a week and a half. Actually, last time I played an instrument was last time I live streamed when somebody wanted me to go get my guitar and play that. I have not had a chance to do like anything. I did caterwaul a bit. Like I was practicing singing. I'm not very good at it. But it's fun. And that's my stepdad actually stopped by the house yesterday. And he had brought up the very good point that it's like you do not have to be an expert to enjoy what you're doing. And I was like, hey man, geez, that's a good point. Because it's like a lot of this stuff, like with jewelry making and costuming and everything, I was not good at it, you guys. Like, it was pretty rough. But I liked it, and so I kept doing it. It's like, okay. The question is, how many shows did I vend at our first year? Gosh. We did, what did we do? 2 or 3 shows a month?
What, our first year?
Yeah.
No.
How many did we do?
Maybe 1 show a month.
Okay.
Maybe.
It was in our first year, since most of the events that we had found out about, like, we'd find out about it because it's like we'd be at a convention and it's like, oh, well, you know, next week there's this convention in this place. So we were building up our own personal database of different conventions that we were interested in going to, but we had already missed the window for vending. So in our first year, we probably did 12 to maybe 18 conventions and craft shows. We were doing a lot of craft shows that first year. And we would go and set up in Huntsville, Alabama. There was a place called the Flying Monkey, that the Lowe's Art Mill there in Huntsville. And every weekend they would have like a kind of thing, but it never really, we were really inconsistent about going, so we didn't really do well there. And some artists' setups like that can get really cliquish, and they were like, well, we already have a wire wrapper and we already have a chain mailer. And I'm like, okay, I guess. Like, I don't know. They weren't very inviting, so we were like, well, we could stay at home and not have to put pants on instead of putting up with you snobby nerds. But sorry. And that was a long time ago, though, so I don't know if the folks there are still like that. But it's like, I'd never been around so many hippies who were like holier than thou art, self-righteous attitudes. I was like, oh my gosh. So I didn't get too involved with those folks.
I'm having a hard time figuring out pricing on the Ring Lord. How does it work?
Usually they sell by the ounce.
What sells by the ounce?
Oh, the question is, the person is having difficulty with the pricing on the Ring Lord. Usually they sell their product by the ounce, and it is set up kind of weird. Do it? No. And, I don't know. Like, take a screenshot and send it to me on Facebook, and I might be able to help you further, but it's been a while since, like, I'm so used to their setup that it's like, but they do have bulk discounts, so, like, once you order $200 or more worth of stuff, you get, like, an additional 10% off, which that can really add up, especially if you're doing, like, a $700 order, and it's like, discount. The question is, how many shows a year do we average now? Last year, we did almost, probably in the past 3 years, we do anywhere from like 24 to 30 shows a year. Like, we really were doing, like, usually in March, there's like 5 weekends, and 4 of those weekends we would be at an event. But this year, we've cut it down majorly to just 1 show a month. And oh my gosh, you guys, it's so nice to be home. Like, I miss being on the road a little bit until it's like Sunday at a convention and I'm like, I miss my chickens. I want to go lay in my bed. Like,
we don't grow marijuana.
Water it, give it full sun, I guess, if it's a plant. But, no, we don't grow, despite common perception, we don't grow weed.
We do custom orders.
2 kilograms of female. The question is, do I ever buy 2 kilograms of female? Let me see. This is how I usually buy my clay, is in the little 2-ounce bricks. like this. It's 57 grams, if that's helpful. But then I do get big ol' boxes of just the plain white. And then also, I don't know if I have any, what did I do with it? I had bought some big bricks of the black Sculpey as well, because I use a lot of that stuff.
You've got a 9-year-old fan. She wants to be your friend because you seem nice.
Aw, well thank you. That's very kind. You can find me on Facebook and send me messages and stuff there.
Do you have any tips for sore fingers or hands?
I usually, as much as I dislike housework, I go and wash some dishes after wire working, and it like, really helps kind of relax all of those muscles. I also spin poi, which is like a ball on a string, and it really stretches out, because you can use a weighted ball, and it really stretches out all those different tendons and muscles and things. And then also just practicing some stretching like this, like that one. We were coiling rings yesterday, so my hands are so sore. But just stretch, drink lots of water, and don't hesitate to like give yourself like a hand massage. A lot of folks have been suggesting liquid skin, that kind of that you just paint on and let it dry and then start wire wrapping to help form a barrier. But usually after a couple of days, that area has just built up a callus. Bag balm, yeah. Farmers friends hand salve. I don't know. Burt's Bees hand salve. A farmer's friend is what like the logo is. But I really like that stuff because it smells really good and it doesn't leave my hands oily. So I'm still able to like keep wire wrapping.
Have you ever made leather bracers like one in Assassin's Creed?
The question is, have I ever made leather bracers like the one in Assassin's Creed? I have done a pair very, very similar, but the color scheme was black and purple is what they wanted. So, but I love doing custom work, and if, like, typically here lately, whenever somebody places a custom order, I get it on video. So if you guys really want to see me make a project, buy it from me, and then I'll make it and put a video up of it. Home life and okay, the question is, sorry, Randy is so busy blocking people and stuff that the question is, so how was I balancing home life and life on the road during shows, like gardens and pets at home that we had to worry about? Well, more often than not, we had a roommate, sometimes a couple of roommates who would take care of the house for us, and even now we do have like a house sitter who comes by and just takes care of the house for us. But we really liked, especially when we were gone so much, it really helped having somebody living at the house, because it's like, I mean, our neighbors could have watched us and just see us pack up the van and leave and know that we were going to be gone from anywhere for 3 to 5 days, and they could have just come and like robbed us blind. So yeah, roommates and house sitters, and a lot of started and failed projects. Well, Christy, hopefully we'll see you at Tokyo and Tulsa in July. Like, I think our upcoming show schedule looks like this coming weekend we're going to be at Indiana, in Indianapolis for Indiana Comic-Con. And then after that, we're going to be at Anime St. Louis, like the next month. And then we're going to be at Phoenix Con in Phoenix, Arizona. We're going to be there helping out our friends World of Strange, who do awesome t-shirts. And then Tokyo and Tulsa. We might be at Anime Iowa. I don't know. Like, this is just off the top of my head. We're going to try to do SawesomeCon, but I haven't heard back from the organizer. Dragon Con after that. And then we're kind of open from there, because I honestly don't know. The question is, have we ever come out to California? And we haven't. It's such a far drive. But I think it'd be really cool to. Hey, Sky. The Phoenix Con is in Phoenix, Arizona. That'd be really cool.
What's your favorite food?
Coffee? I don't know.
Coffee. What's that?
Oh, are you mad at me?
No,
Like,
I
please
want
don't.
you to
I'm
keep
sorry,
going,
but just, sorry, I keep forgetting to say the questions. The question is, what's my favorite food? And, like, right now it's coffee, but I love strawberries, and sugar snap peas are probably my favorite, but I love steak too. Like, we had steaks yesterday, like steak and asparagus, and it was so good.
Do you ever craft wedding rings?
The question is, do I ever craft wedding rings? And I have, and I will, and I can do them on a custom basis if you would like precious metals, like a sterling silver or gold filled or white gold. I really like it. So it's really special to me whenever somebody does a project like, or requests a project like that. Probably my favorite wedding project that I've gotten to do was a matching tiara and elf ears for a lady for her wedding. So that's the kind of wedding that we do, you guys. Oh, right on. This person says Dragon Con's 45 minutes away from them. So hopefully we'll see you there, Victoria. The question is, how many hours a week do I use to build up my inventory before shows? Whenever we were doing...
I have no idea what this person's talking about. I'm gonna block her.
Okay. Whenever we were doing shows like 2 or 3 a month, our goal was to hit about $300 worth of inventory a day. And so sometimes that would go by pretty quickly, because like whenever we're both making earrings, Randy and I are, we can get like $1,000 worth of earrings made in a day. Now it's like a 14-hour day, but basically, to answer the question in a very short, efficient manner, all day, every day, we were working on beefing up inventory, and that's basically what we did for 9 years. But now it's like I'll set like a batch of products and be like, okay, well, we're kind of low on this, so I need to make like 10 of that. And so it's the nice thing about it though is whenever you're running your own business like this, and whenever you're creating something, the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out. So we never once felt like, God, we wasted all that time. It's like, because the inventory doesn't go bad, so if it doesn't all sell at one show, you have it for the next. But it's always been almost a direct reward system, that it's like we worked really hard, we brought our A game, we did our best setup that we could, we did our salesmanship as best we could, and we got a really good return for it. So, yeah.
So a heavy-duty Singer sewing machine in the background on the chainmail tumbling video. Mm-hmm. Do you do any sewing, or is that for leather projects?
The question is, do I do any sewing, or is my heavy-duty Singer sewing machine for leather projects only? It will sew pretty well through garment leather, but I do use my sewing machine for like seamstressing projects and stuff. Like, we make a lot of our own chemises and skirts and things like that. So, and oh my gosh, it was a Christmas gift, like 3, maybe 4, this Christmas will be 4 Christmases ago. Randy got me a Singer, like, industrial sewing machine. It's not like factory industrial, but it's like for home use. It's pretty awesome. It punches like 8 layers of denim like it's nothing, doesn't miss a stitch or anything. And then he also got me a serger, and that's a Brother brand, like I can't remember the item number, but it was just it was like a $200 serger worth every penny. Like, for real. And sergers do a really nice, like, they'll do a hem like this that has that nice kind of little stitching on the edge. That way the fabric doesn't unravel.
Do you have a design on beaded footwear?
The question is, do I have a design on beaded footwear? I don't currently. I make some chainmail, like barefoot sandals and slave anklets and foot flowers and stuff, but and I've done some that were like wire wrapped, But that's definitely something. We'll make a video about it. The question is, how can I send you pictures of the dragon eyes?
I've got that.
Well, I'm gonna say it out loud too.
Okay.
If you ever want to send me pictures, or if you have questions or anything like that, you can find me on Facebook. If you just search up in the search bar, Back to Earth Creations, that's how you find me.
How did you start on YouTube?
Well, it's... How did we start on YouTube?
You did a video 2 years?
Yeah, it was 2012, and I wanted to lock down the channel name, so I started... I thought I could change it to Back to Earth Creations, but that didn't really work. So it was, not good at computers. So, and a lot of people were coming through the booth and being like, wow, how did you do this? And I was like, I'll show you. But then it was really difficult to show people there in the booth, because it's like, whenever I'm showing somebody, I'm like constantly doing this with my hands. So I was like, I'll go home, I'll set my webcam up so that you can like see from my perspective. And we started making videos, and for the longest time we only had like 2 videos up, because I mean, we were gone all the time. But then conventions kind of bottomed out. Like last year was really hard on just about everybody on the convention circuit that we've talked to. Like there's just so many there's so many shows going on in the, like, what's the number, like 700 some odd conventions a year in the continental US, and that's like way too many. So yeah, we were like, well, we'll just cut back and keep our head down. And Randy, for the first time in 8 years, had gotten a job at a local factory, and but it was temp work. So whenever that was up, he was like, what are we gonna do? And so we started pushing back in August, a video a day. Because I was like, there's all these folks who are, doing really well for themselves on YouTube. I feel like I have some things to share. And so we started going, and y'all have helped us make a living out of this. So we're really appreciative of that, because y'all make our dreams possible. And so I'm hoping that by doing the free tutorials and the giveaways and all sorts of stuff, that we'll be able to give back as much as y'all have given us. So speaking of giveaways, this Saturday, let me see, consult my calendar. This Saturday, on the 15th, we will be doing the first Patreon giveaway for April. So if you guys want to check out our Patreon, which Randy might be sharing the link here soon, brain fart, what was I talking about? Patreon giveaway. You can go to our Patreon page. We're just Back to Earth Creations, and Randy might be sharing the link soon. And that's for $1 a month. It puts your name in the hat to win our patron exclusive giveaway, but it also like kind of gets you VIP access for all of our giveaways, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is, and you don't have to do any additional work. Like usually on the Facebook one, I'm like, share, and subscribe, like kind of stuff. And it's like, if you're a patron, your name's already in the hat. I also do a seed giveaway here on YouTube. And that's something that if you guys like just kind of scroll through our channel a little bit, you'll be able to find the April seed giveaway. As a patron, you're already signed up for that, and if you pay $5 or more, you get your name in the hat 5 times. So it's kind of like tickets for door prizes. So, and it's a lot of fun. And then also, you can go and check us out on Patreon. There's like a bunch of different levels. We send out like kits or gifts, or like you kind of get to pick what you get. So, any questions?
No, you've got tons of people, I'll come for the boobs, and it's like, if that's what you're here for, just shut up and enjoy it.
Okay.
Don't clutter the
just
feed.
block them.
Oh, I have been.
Okay.
I'm saying this because it's so much of it.
Okay. Randy has put in a request, you guys, to stop saying stuff about my boobs, because he's tired of having to block you.
If you're here for that, just
yeah,
shut
if
up
you're
about
here
it.
for it, just quietly shh. I like looking at them too. It's okay. Can you do... Oh, my screen did... The question is, can I do a pattern making video? And I am putting that together. Again, it's probably going to be about a month to 2 months, maybe, for the, for that to come out. The question is, what's my favorite animal? I don't know. Like, favorite animal to eat is goat. Favorite animal to, like, play with are donkeys. They're so fun. They're so cute when they're big. There's this donkey at the petting zoo that whenever you feed him, like, he just, like, holds his mouth open. Like, next time we go, yes, I go to the petting zoo. The leather piece that I'm wearing, somebody's asking about this. This is actually, it's a leather mini vest, and I wear it to conventions as part of my work uniform. It is super comfy because at the end of the day when I take it off, I don't have any neck or shoulder pain. It's not biting into me there or on the sides.
And just all of it.
Okay.
All at once. So ignore me. Keep going.
This is education, not for the uneducated. I had to say something. Oh. Goat is, I don't think it's gamey. But also a lot of the time whenever, yeah, right? Whenever people eat, like, venison or rabbit or even, like, wild-caught turkey, a lot of the reason it tastes gamey is because the meat that we're used to getting in, like, the supermarkets and things has been treated with a sodium solution. So if you just brine your meat first for, like, 4 hours soaking in some salt water, it takes away a lot of that gaminess and makes it taste so good. The question is, am I going to be in the competition for Phoenix Comic-Con? I really want to be, but we're riding up in our friend's van, so I have no idea if there's going to be room for the costume on top of the vehicle. And so it's, we'll see, but I'm going to try to have it ready because even if I don't get to compete, I want to kind of be dressed up in it in the booth because, again, we're helping our friend with their table because that's such a big convention and they do so well there that I want to go and just, like, kind of, like, promote our YouTube. And, I mean, there's a lot of talented cosplayers there and kind of be like, hey, you can, you know, check us out. You know, shameless self-promotion.
The question is, how do you feel knowing that you inspire others to try and start the same kind of business? Also, what would be your biggest tip for newbies wanting to start up their own crafty business?
Okay, can you read that to me louder?
How do you feel knowing that you inspired others to try and start the same kind of business?
Okay. The question is, how do I feel knowing that I'm inspiring others to what?
Start the same kind of business.
To start their business. It's an honor. Like, honestly, like, it's really humbling. And amazing. And, like, y'all get me re-excited about what I do all over again. And then, what was it, the second part of the question? The best tip? Mm-hmm. The best tip that I could give is to stay true to yourself. Because if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're not going to put in your 100%. Like, if you're enjoying it without even thinking, you're going to put in 120% without thinking twice about it. Because it's what you're passionate about. I don't know, it's easier to stand by your work when it's something that is true to your heart as opposed to like, this is just some stuff I made because I thought it might sell. Like, you know, stick true to your passion and your art. Don't be afraid to experiment with new techniques, new ideas, because, I mean, there is a certain level that it's like, yeah, I wouldn't wear that, but I made it to sell because somebody else might, and I liked making it. But, you know, don't give up. Ever. As long as it's, like I said, making you happy, if it's still echoing true to like what you want to do with your life, do it. Do whatever it takes and just do it. So, is there another question?
Your best. Do you plan on making a video on how to make it?
I am working on a video on how to make my own vest as well as how to make your own pattern. I actually used an old sports bra that I really liked the way that it sat to make the template for this one. But I'll be doing a video all in one of how to make the template and then the construction process as well.
Would you consider doing a tour of your crafty space around your home, or do you already have a video for that?
Ooh, the question is, would I consider doing a tour? of my crafty space. And if I already have a video about it, I don't know if I have a video up of where I reorganized it, like kind of cleaned it a bit. But honestly, I don't know where anything is here. But no, it's like I'm going to die under a pile of like fallen over bookcases one day. Like that's totally gonna be the way I go out. But yeah, I can give y'all a quick peek. This is my old sewing desk. It normally would keep a sewing machine in there, but I like it because it has drawers, and I actually use it more for leatherworking now because it's very solid wood. These are the drawers that I keep most of my polymer clay in. I keep all of my cabochons up there, and that's more polymer clay, like blended colors or like canes that I've made. Like some of them, these are some canes that I made like 2 years ago. And they're still good. But yeah, made them out of polymer clay. And so it kind of gave me a way to organize that. And then up there you can see it's some artwork by some friends of mine and some gifts and letters that people have sent. That's me and Randy when we were dating in high school. We went to his senior prom together. And it's all crooked. But and then the love letter that he wrote me is like hanging out the back. So, bunch of junk. Leatherworking, all sorts of things. Do you mind being on camera today, Randy? Meh, he says. That's Randy's spot where anytime I need anything, I just holler, like, Randy, help! And he's like, okay, and then helps me. We've got more stuff that extends over that way. We have, let's see, over there is kind of a leatherworking station. Right there is a lot of our leather storage. There's so much stuff. So much of it's out in the van. I have a bunch of naked mannequins on the porch right now. These are my plants. They are my friends. Lots of materials in the drawers. Like, not even kidding. There's shit all over the floor, you guys. Like, my life is a disaster. More drawers. Dude, this is like, what?
You have no space.
A 5-bedroom, old, like, 3-story Victorian house, and it is full of my crap, you guys. More storage. Like, I don't know. And it all needs dusted and cleaned so bad, and all I want to do is go and play in my yard. So, yeah, quick tour of the mess that is. Oh, and then we have, like, there's Rubbermaid drawers on top of that bookcase. You can see the naked mannequins out by the weight bench on the front porch. It's just, whew. Mess. Lots of mess.
How long have you and Randy been together? I need you to help organize my craft area. Anything that you would change about the storage?
The question is, how long have Randy and I been together? And this past February, we celebrated our 12-year anniversary. So it was back in 2005 we got together. I was a sophomore in high school and he was a senior. So that was pretty cool. Things that I would change about storage is I would get people to make all of their boxes the same size, because it's like, I'll get one set of drawers from one company and another set that looks identical from another company, but it's like a 1/2 inch taller, and so it won't fit on the shelf. And then, I wish these wouldn't fall out of their tracks as much, and if they were, like, again, just like a 1/2 inch deeper, I could store my nail polish in them, but they're not, so I can't. But, I don't know, I'm not good at organizing, so I have no complaints. I wish they'd come out with versions of these that had, like, anti-lock brakes or something on them, that anytime that you dropped it, it would, like, magically fuse itself temporarily so that your beads don't go everywhere. And other than that, I just wish I didn't grow messes. What's the next question?
Do you have so many plants?
The question is, where did I find these shelves with the rainbow drawers? They are for sale at Michael's, and Hobby Lobby. Michael's has something that's basically the same thing, but it's not rainbow. But they're like $80 per set of drawer. But 40% off coupon first and foremost, and then also go in whenever they're having the like clean, like 50% off everything in the section. It's in like the scrapbooking section, I think. But I inherited these from my mom, actually. She had gotten a bunch of them for all sorts of stuff and then realized that it's like, yeah, you can use it. Because you can only fit certain amounts of so many things in them before like the drawers start falling out and like everything gets all dusty because they're not like closed top. Oh, and so Chris says that they also sell them on Amazon. So definitely would be worth, even if you don't like having Amazon Prime, just get it for like a month because it's $10 and it's probably way less than what the shipping would be. The question is Michael's an American store? And it's yeah. I don't know if they ship internationally or not, but I like them.
They are not good drawers.
Oh, you don't like them?
No, they're terrible.
Yeah, for $80, like honestly, if I hadn't have inherited them, I would not have bought them. But I have them, so that's what I'm using. Like, I very much prefer drawers like these ones right here. That, again, I don't know, I guess I'm just really hard on stuff. These ones get pretty busted up because we take them in the van with us, but just Sterilite drawers that they do stack well on top of each other and stuff. But these ones, like, I have them zip tied together because otherwise they lean from all the weight that's in them. The question is, let's see. The question is, what type of creations do we limit ourselves to, and would we expand to other types of products? We currently limit ourselves primarily to what we can display in our booth setup, because we know it's like, oh, well, we don't really have a way to display staves, like contact staves and like props and stuff, so we don't make a whole lot of those for sale out of the booth. I'll make them all day if people custom order them. Sure. The question is, can I do a video on how to add a dragon eye to a leather piece like a guitar strap? I'll do that. The question is, how old were you when you started making stuff like this, and how old are you now? I'm 28. I'll be turning 29 this year. Randy will be turning 30. And we were 20 when we started our business. Yeah. So it was, I had been making a little bit of jewelry and stuff prior to that, but for the most part, it's, the question is, what are your thoughts on Etsy? I have some friends pushing me to sell my jewelry on it. I personally, now granted, this was like 4 or 5 years ago, did not have a lot of success on Etsy because we were doing so many sales through our booth in person, and so much of our work was one of a kind that it's like I'd get it made, post it to Etsy, go do a show, have to take it down from Etsy, but they still charged that 20-cent posting fee. And it's like, that adds up, you know? Also, like, I just wasn't posting very regularly, I guess, but it's for the amount of effort that I put into it and the amount of fees that were getting taken out through the transactions. I just pay like $40 a year and have my own domain through Weebly, and I have tons of success through that. So, but there also are a lot of people who are very successful through Etsy. I was just not one of them. So try it out, see what works for you, and learn from what doesn't work until you find what does. The question is, will I ever do woodworking, such as carving or whittling? I do quite a bit of wood burning. Well, used to. I had some like little boxes here. Like this one, I did the wood burning on it, but the latch was all funky, so I didn't sell it, and I just use it for doing leather staining now. But I really like it, and Randy actually took 4 years of wood shop in high school, and so I'd love to be able to get him some tools and stuff so that he wants to make like replica keyblades and all sorts of cool stuff like that. So question is will you be doing a video on making scale mail? Yes, I will be. Just be patient. Because we try to do a tutorial every other day. And then on the days in between, we do like live streams, or I talk about my garden, or just something that way. Because a lot of production, like, I know it doesn't look like I do a whole lot of editing. I'm just not very good at it. But it takes quite a bit of production effort to get the tutorials and stuff put together in a way that's like semi-comprehensive. Yeah. The question is, could you do a video on how to make a chainmail web, like for hair pieces or belly dancer belts? I'm actually, like, let me pull it out real quick. This is one of the belt bases that later today I'm going to be shooting a video of how, first off, to make it, as well as how to do like chainmail and things hanging off of it for it being a belly dance belt. So, yes.
A scale mail coif on your website. Do you have a tutorial on how to make them?
The question is, do I have a tutorial of how to make the scale mail coif that's on our website? Which is like the big, like, armory looking headdress. I don't have one yet, but I can make one. Like, I'm going to put together a tutorial on how to make scale mail, and then in that tutorial we'll talk a little bit about the different design elements, like how you would modify it to like put in a seam and stuff. And so we'll try to kind of do that. The question is, have you ever tried square foot gardening? It maximizes your crops a lot. I do, and I love it. I take a lot of the elements from square foot gardening, like the spacing, and this year I've adopted them for my cool crops into rows. So I have like one row of like spinach, which takes up a lot of space above ground, but has a kind of shallower root system. And then on the rows in between that is where I'm doing like my beets and radishes, who are taking up more space under the ground. So kind of, but I'm still, wow, that's a much better deal. Oh, sorry. The question is, have you ever thought about making stuff for men? I do, and I'm working on, again, another tutorial. I have like 7 projects up in the air right now that I'm desperately trying to finish, as well as prep for going to Indiana, so please keep being patient.
Are you a vegan?
No, I'm not a vegan. I tried, and it turns out I am very allergic to textured vegetable protein, which is basically the soy protein meat replacement. And my face swelled up. I was covered in a rash, and it's expensive. And quite frankly, it's a lot cheaper to grow my own food and rabbits than it is to buy, like, at least in Carthage too, because we live in a pretty rural town, like a smaller town. And so it's like there's tofu and stuff here. It costs so much. Like, and so I'm lean, if I had to stick to labels, which I prefer not to because they're so limiting, it's more of like locavore because I try to grow what I eat, and anything that I can't, I go and get from Price Cutter or the farmer's market. So, and then I have a friend who like goes hunting and stuff, and he gives us a lot of venison, a lot of quail, you know, things like that. So the question is, when you do wire working, do you cut up your fingers? Yeah, quite a bit actually. Like, I have 9 years worth of calluses and stuff that we don't eat a lot of fish because the only stuff that's really available around here is very muddy tasting catfish. And also we're a mining town, and so the heavy metal deposits in this area are much higher in the water than, and so we don't as much. I eat salmon anytime I can get my hands on it from the store. Like, that's like our big treat. Is whenever we'll get some salmon, some wild caught salmon frozen from the store, and yeah. Like, I don't know what I would do if, like, without eggs, like, talking about vegetarian and veganism.
Well, we wouldn't have chickens. That's what...
Well, we wouldn't have chickens for one, but then what would I do for my insect control? Right on. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can't.
Do you have a tutorial on gauntlets?
The question is, do I have a tutorial on scale mail gauntlets? I do not, but I can work on one. Something that I found with the scale mail is I can actually, I'll turn the camera around so that you guys can see how horrific my my organization is here. Let's see if I can't turn this. No, okay. So there's, no, I'll just keep it turned around. Sorry, I was getting adventurous. In this shoebox here from 6 years ago, I should have some scale mail. Scale mail, where are you? Set that up there. Our house is filthy. The dogs chewed something up, and don't judge. Right, there it is. I found it. Okay. So blast from the past, you guys. I haven't looked at this thing in ages. But this was, Randy and I were working on making a scale mail project. Sorry, stop talking. I was reading stuff. This was our first experiment in making a gauntlet. And you can see I actually made this with the split rings, which was horrible. That's why I don't do it anymore. Granted, I mean, nothing's going to break it, but it shaved good years off my life.
So if you put it on.
And we did a spiral chain for the finger loop. But yeah, so you'd put it on. And, I mean, it looks mega cool, right? But whenever you were to, like, lace it up, it would just collapse down your hand because there's no structure underneath. So if I were to do something like this, because, I mean, that does look mega cool. And now that I'm a leather worker, what I might actually do is go through and make a leather gauntlet base and then stitch or rivet this in spots to the leather base. That way, whenever you're wearing it, it'll actually stay up instead of, because you don't want to just walk around like just casually holding your hand like that. Like, that would be ridiculous. But oh man, I had forgotten how nice the small scales were. I like it. Do you want to pet it, Randy? No? I do. Fire. That's nice, though. I love those small scales. I'll make a video about it now that I have it dug out. Why not? It's just been literally sitting in a drawer for like 6 years. So pretty. So cool. Okay. Found it. Any more questions?
Would you consider hiring someone to help with production?
The question is, would I consider hiring someone to help with production? We have carried other people's work before, and with varying degrees of success. We have had people help us in our booth before, both with sales at conventions as well as making stuff here in-house, again, with varying degrees of success. And we aren't overly eager to hire anyone else right now, because we just got out of like a really bad working relationship with our most recent helper. And so we're kind of burnt out on that, and it's just like the enthusiasm at the beginning is typically wonderful. Like, they're all full on apprentice mode and giving it their all, and we're giving it our all. And then it's like, but the thing is, we've been giving it our all for like 9 years, and then the other person just isn't as invested, and which is totally fair. This is our thing, not their thing. And as much as we're trying to bring them into the fold, sometimes you just need to go off and do your own thing. And that's why I do the YouTube tutorials and stuff, is to try to give you all of the tools and resources and knowledge that I wish I had had when we were starting out, but I also don't have to wear pants. So, I hope that answered your question.
If you were to weave the scale gauntlet backwards, would that work? Like, if you weave it upside down?
The question is, if I were to weave the scale gauntlet backwards, would that, I guess, keep it from collapsing on itself? not that I've found. I've tried a bunch of different ways, even with just like butted rings. That way I could still take it apart and stuff. And it just has a movement to it. And so and also because of the taper of my arm, it might work for someone who is a very like not curvy forearm. But whenever I would lace it up, the lacing here is wider than the lacing here, so it would just slide right down. Next question.
No pants is the best.
No pants is the best. I think I actually saw somebody ask earlier how I felt about nudism. I actually grew up at a nudist camp, you guys. For like 3 years, I lived at a nudist camp. So I'm like, woo, naked. So I have no problems with it. I realize and accept it is not for everybody. And it is not for all times. There's a time and a place for nudity, and it's not all the time everywhere. It's just most of the time, most places. So
Earlier when you were showing the Skull Gauntlet, you said split rings.
the question is about split rings, and I'll show you guys. And this is something whenever I do the video about it, I'll have the better camera. So, but you can see they're like miniature key rings. You know, so there's 2 parts to each one, and you would use something called split ring pliers, which are a pain in the neck, like, to use. They've got this kind of like tooth on them that splits the ring open. Like, honestly, like, the whole thing is so labor intensive. But you'll break the scale, the aluminum scale, before you'll break the steel ring. But, and that's why we don't do a whole lot of this anymore. But, so hopefully that makes sense what the difference is. And if you're searching online for, like, other tutorials and stuff, they're called, I'd search split rings. Whereas these ones here, these are just regular jump rings. And you can see how it's just, like, 1 layer per loop. So I hope that was helpful to you guys.
The question earlier about tips for sore hands and fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Did you answer that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, they're asking.
Okay. The question was tips for sore hands and fingers. What I do is I do hand soaks, either through by taking like a nice bath or washing some dishes. I use Hand Solve by Burt's Bees because it doesn't leave my hands oily. And a lot of it is just be patient with yourself, maybe pace yourself, or use liquid skin or moleskin band-aids, or just, there's many different things that you could do, as there are people to do it. So just try out what works for you. But a lot of the times, stretching, hand soaks, and moderation will help with the sore hands. Hi, Gwen. Sorry, somebody's 5-year-old is watching. That's funny. Yeah, sorry, I laughed because somebody had said, nudism isn't big in Scotland because weather and midgets. It's like, that's fine. Short people can be naked too. Y'all are too much. When you used to buy... The question is, when I used to buy wire at Walmart, would I cover it in something to keep my skin from turning green? Usually, if I find a wire that turns my skin green, I just stop buying it. I get all of my wire from parawire.com. It's www.parawire.com. They're based out of New Jersey, and they have the highest quality enameled copper core that I've been able to find in 9 years. And it's like this necklace was made with Parawire, and you can see on the back side, it hasn't eaten through the enamel yet, and I think that's fantastic. And I have very acidic skin that usually, like, if it's like a cheap and like an artistic wire from Hobby Lobby, eats right through it in a day. So I stand by Parawire's products so much. Now there was some wire that I would get at Walmart that was actually stainless steel wire, and they stopped carrying it. And I'm like, you guys didn't know what you had. And they sold it for like $2 a spool, and it was like 50 yards. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. We made a lot of stuff with that wire, but we haven't been able to find it in like 2 years. So 2 or 3 years now. Any questions?
Yes. Have you tried knitting with dragon scales for gauntlets?
The question is, have I tried knitting with dragon scales for gauntlets? I have. I'm not good at knitting, like at all. And also a lot of it is I'm not good at following instructions or directions. Because I'm like, oh, well, what if I did this different? And it's like, nope, you really have to follow the directions on that. But the result is phenomenal. Like I bought a tutorial from a lady, and it was just, the concept was awesome. But I might have to try, like, revisit that both as I've progressed. It was like 6 years ago. So I've progressed a lot from where I was to where I am now. So maybe it might have a different result.
Is there anything else you would like to know?
Midgies! Oh my gosh, I thought you said, what's a midgie? Sorry. I thought you said midgets. And I was like, that's kind of hateful. Clothing exterminated because they're bitey and like mosquitoes? I'm so sorry. If you could block Hulk Smash, please.
Yep, just got there.
Buckled. So, well, the video is running a little long today. Usually we try to stick to just an hour. So I think I'm going to answer like maybe 5 more minutes worth of questions, and then we'll have to start heading out, because we've got a bunch of work today. Like, we've got lots more orders to fill, which I want to take this opportunity to apologize to everybody whose message I have not replied to yet. You probably know who you are because you're like, I sent you an email like a week ago. It's like, please be patient with me. I'm trying my best. Randy's helping any way that he can. But yeah, we're going to cut rings today. We made like probably 200 coils yesterday, so we'll be able to fill a lot of those orders. And we're doing our first Patreon giveaway of April on the 15th, this Saturday. So if you guys want to participate in that, that's another thing I'm doing today is sculpting the fairy house that we'll be giving away on Friday. So busy. And yeah, as well as like I'm going to make like 3 more corsets and just like tons of work. So we're going to have to go soon. Making
What's your most labor-intensive project you've ever done?
The question is, what is the most labor-intensive project I've ever done? And that was, geez, do you think it was that scale kilt?
Oh, yeah, that.
Probably, a gentleman wanted, like, a wrap skirt, like, kilt style, made entirely out of scale mail. And he was tall. And so it's basically, I made a beach towel sized sheet of bronze scale mail, and it was so much. Like that was probably, and we've probably done like the cosplay that I'm working on currently, with like all the leather and the ram's horns and stuff. That was probably the most labor intensive, but this scale kilt, because it was so monotonous as well, was just, oh my gosh, because it was a huge, like 2 yards by 1 yard of scales, like just straight scales, all the same colors, so no variation from the inlay. It got pretty mind deadening. Like I think we rewatched all of DBZ while making it to help the time pass.
After making a dragon eye, just surround it with polymer clay. Do you bake it with the DE in the clay or glue it?
The question is, do I bake my dragon eyes in with the polymer clay project? And the answer is yes. If it's your first time doing it, I would really recommend testing out the eye first or keeping an eye on it, because some of the colors will darken down. Like, my neon yellow especially loses a lot of its vibrancy, but it still fluoresces under a black light and looks cool, so it's okay. I just kind of accept it for what it is. But be sure to let the polymer clay cure, or not the polymer, the nail polish cure all the way. You do not want to put wet nail polish into a hot oven. That's flammable. And boom, big fire. So there's that. But yeah, I bake it. I just pop them right in, wrap them up in the clay, and just bake them. So, no, you could always glue it in as well, but I like the clay layered over the eye, and to just get to sculpt it without having to take it back apart and then put it back together post-baking.
Do you have any tips for dragon eyes?
My tips for dragon eyes would be to start simple. Start with maybe 2 or 3 colors and get like contrasting colors too. Like one of my favorite is the fire eyes, and so do a red, an orange, and a yellow, and kind of experiment with that and like get the hang of scratching and stuff, and then kind of start simple and build in variation. And that's something I would recommend for anything, whether it's leatherworking or what have you, is to start simple and then add in elements of complexity on top of that. That way you can kind of get the hang of the base technique and then build in and build in and build in. And I know it can be really tempting, like so much of the time, like story of my life, is it's like, no, I'm going to do the hardest thing first. And it's like, okay, artist's prerogative, I guess. But yeah, it's if you start simple and then building complexity, it's very easy to be successful right from the beginning. So, because I want to show you guys, I have it right over here. This is the first dragon eye. Well, one of the first. This was from the first batch of dragon eyes that I made. Okay, like, it's not very good. Like, at all. And then this is one that I popped out just the other day. So the difference is just noticeable, I think, is a safe way to put it. So, yeah, so don't judge yourself too harshly off of your first eye either, because it's your first time. Nobody's good at anything typically the first time that they do it, but you'll get better. If you enjoy it and you keep doing it and you keep practicing and keep experimenting, you'll get better.
Okay, last question.
Last question.
It's a big one.
It's a big one.
If you could make any project, what would it be? Dream project, regardless of equipment, money, or anything.
The question is, if I could make any project, what would it be? Like my dream project. And that would be to make my own house out of cob, because I could sculpt it. And I would sculpt a giant fairy house that I could live in, that had like trees and murals sculpted into the walls. And like every window would be a stained glass mural of like awesomeness. And just one day I want to build my own house, and I want to landscape the roof. I want a green roof that's like all plants and like, yeah, but I wouldn't be able to maintain anything else that I was doing in my life other than working on that house. So that's why it's not really as viable as what I would like it to be, but I would totally, that's my dream project, is to make my own house to live in. So on that note, thank you guys for hanging out with me for a little bit. We'll be live streaming again next week on Wednesday at probably 2, maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Central Standard Time. Keep an eye out, though, if you guys want to find me on Facebook, Patreon, everything. All of our links will be down in the video description below for anybody who wasn't able to make it to the live stream. But we really appreciate all of y'all's support. Like, just in the past month, we've more than doubled our subscribers. We're up to, I think, we might have hit 24,000 during this live stream.
I think you're 5 away, so yeah, probably.
Oh, 5 away. If 5 more people will subscribe to me, we can have hit 24,000, in which case we will have tripled our subscribers for since last month. Like, that'd be awesome. So, but yeah, it's like, I can't believe it, you guys. I could have never dreamed that y'all would want to hang out with me and like watch my videos and shoot the wind and stuff. So, but thank you guys so much. I'm gonna let you go and get back to work so we can make more tutorials for you guys. But
before we wrap it up, when's your next really long wire wrapping video?
My next really long wire wrapping video, I don't know. Let me look at my calendar. have a wire wrapping video coming out tomorrow, but it's not like 2 hours long. And then another one on Friday. And then another one on the 18th. But, and then probably my next really long one will be, I've got 2 custom pieces sitting around waiting on me to get to work on, and those ones will be pretty ornate, because it was for my friend Patricia, who had given me a camera, which is phenomenal. I need to wrap her fossil, and I'm really excited about that. And then another one is a very beautiful turquoise piece from another kind lady that I'll get to wrap that one. So hopefully keep an eye out. We've got a couple more chainmail and leatherworking tutorials coming out. All sorts of stuff. Also, if you guys have any gardening questions or would like to participate in my April seed giveaway, please search April seed giveaway, or I'll put a link down in the video description, and you can leave your questions and stuff there, and I will answer them in one of my upcoming gardening videos. That way I can like demonstrate maybe a little bit more hands-on what my answer to your problem would be. So yeah, thank you again, guys, so much for hanging out with me. I'm gonna let you go, but have a beautiful day. Bye.